Hi, this is John McGrail. Welcome back to A Better You in a minute or two. Picking up from where we left off in our last episode, you may remember that I said all of us at some time or another in our lives have issues that are holding us back that we'd like to change. And I also mentioned that in order to make that change and make it stick, most of us are going to need a little help. And it's because of the way the human mind develops and functions, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, this is a very complex subject, so in order to do it quickly, I thought the best way would be to use a metaphor, and one of my favorites is a modern jet airliner. Now, for those of you who have never seen one of these, this is a Boeing 727-200 aircraft. And back when I was an airline pilot, this was considered one of the most advanced elite aircraft in the airline fleet. Now, like all modern jet airliners, even back then in the dark ages of aviation, way up here, those teeny little windows up front, sat a couple of human beings called the pilots, and also the controls for a very powerful computer called the autopilot. Now, the autopilot flew the plane beautifully, and it would take you wherever you wanted to go. All you had to do was program it. In fact, it probably flew the plane better than the pilots did, although we'd never admit it. So I want to pretend with you today that I'm going to take you to Denver. So here we go on our 727, and we are off to Denver. And I'm in the flight deck flying today, and I take that airplane right up to 35,000 feet, and I get it on course and on altitude, heading to Denver, and then I say, okay, autopilot, boom, take over, and off we go. Now, I'd like one coffee, one cream, one sugar. Thank you. Halfway across, one of the flight attendants comes up to the flight deck and says, hey, all the folks in the back have changed their mind. They don't want to go to Denver. They want to go to New York. What do you say? So, why not? So I turn off the autopilot, and I take the airplane back, and I turn to New York, and I get her on course and on altitude and on airspeed, and we're on our way to New York now, and everything's great. But you know, the air's pretty thin at 35,000 feet, and it doesn't take very long for me to get really, really tired. Holding that airplane steady and maintaining everything is exhausting, and I want another cup of coffee. So what do? I turn on my autopilot. Oopsie! The autopilot's programmed for Denver. And we're right back where we started. That's exactly what happens in the human mind. If you were to imagine my head as a human mind, the top 10% way up here is what we would call the conscious mind, or the pilot. Logic, reasoning, free will, willpower, and of course our ability to communicate. The rest, 90%, is the much more powerful subconscious mind, what we might call the human autopilot. And the subconscious mind works very much like a computer. Once it's programmed very early in life with its habits, its patterns, its beliefs, its emotions, it will play those programs over and over and over again, taking us down the same path. So, let's imagine now that I've got this issue. I've got a habit or a belief or an emotion. It's kind of taken me to Denver when I really don't want to go to Denver anymore. I'm kind of tired of it. So I say, I want to switch course. I want to change my life. I want to go to New York. Now, my conscious pilot has the ability of overriding the autopilot and making that course change. And now I'm headed where I want to go. This feels good, but it doesn't take very long. Remember, 10% of the mind is overpowering 90% that wants to go that way. It doesn't take very long for something to happen, and I just get exhausted, and my conscious mind slips, my autopilot comes back on, and I'm heading right back to proverbial Denver. That's how things work when we try to make changes on our own. In order to make a change like that and make it stick, we have to find a way to reprogram the subconscious autopilot. And that's where techniques and methodologies like hypnotherapy, NLP, meditation, and all the other tools and methods we use in synthesis come to play. Because when we apply them, we can reprogram that subconscious autopilot both quickly and profoundly. And it doesn't take very long for the autopilot to be in alignment with our conscious pilot. And once that occurs, we're on our way to New York. So if you have an issue, go and get the help. You deserve to live the way you want to live. You deserve to go to New York if that's where you want to go. If you get the help, you can make it happen more quickly than you could imagine. Till next time, this is Dr. John McGrail, helping you create a better you.